Time for some Monday NBA Monday, May the 6th. We are here with Erik from eTop21 Sports. Gino here, and we can take a little second, Erik, to just look back at yesterday where we had Game 7, young team in the Magic, get the big lead early. Everything about that game, when you watched it play out, to me at least, it just made a lot of sense, where the guy on the court who has had the most experience, who has been in the biggest game so far, Mitchell, was the one guy who showed up late. And he struggled early, but he just sort of kept to task because he's been in there's more big games than a lot of the other guys out on the court have. And so I think that did seem like it had a little something to kind of swing back. And, Wagner didn't have a very good game. And you could see what tends to happen, as we're all humans. When we get tired, when we get kind of hurt, you revert back to the things you do naturally. And Orlando looked like they found some things out here and there, but this group of guys, they don't have enough scoring. And that was, again, their Achilles heel down the stretch, where they just could not get buckets when they really needed to when Cleveland turned things up. Give us a minute or two on yesterday before we move on to today.
Even though they won the series, I still think the Cavs should move off of Bickerstaff. That was way too hard than it should have been. Mobley is a guy that does nothing elite, just kind of everything good enough. I don't think he's going to be as good as a pro as I thought he was going to be.
Me neither.
Definitely missed Allen with what he brings there. Hopefully he can be ready. Garland completely crapped his pants the last two games, made some terrible mental mistakes. Strus was kind of the key to the series. Game 7. He hit some threes in the second half that loosened up Orlando's interior defense, allowed Mitchell to get to the rack a little bit more. But what you said, you hit the nail on the head. Mavericks just don't have enough scoring. I mean, that's something they seriously need to look
Magic.
at too.
I think you said Mavericks.
Magic.
Yeah.
All right, Magic. Yeah. I don't think Wagner can be your number 2. I think he's more of a number 3 guy. Definitely need to look to add a piece to go with Paulo going into next year. And I definitely think there's going to be value betting Paulo to win the MVP next year.
Let's talk about what we have tonight, Erik. We have 2 series going on tonight. One of them tips off Pacers and the Knicks. Feels like an early 90s series with these two teams, right? And then we've got the Wolves and the Nuggets, game 2 of that series. So let's start with game 1. Knicks are a 5.5-ish point favorite or so, depending on where you're looking. Over under around 218. I have one play in this game, Erik, and I'm going to go under Siakam 20.5 points for this game. He had 2 amazing games against Milwaukee in the first 2 games of the series. And following that, the last 4 games, he only averaged 15.3 points. He had no game higher than 19. He was 2 of 14 from 3. So I think he's going to have a really tough matchup here with a former teammate of his who knows him pretty well, right? You feel like that's who he'll probably match up with, OG?
Yeah. I like that play. Siakam kind of, with how the Bucks were playing defense, it kind of forced him to be a little bit more of something. I expect that to kind of tamper down a little bit. Knicks are pretty good in the interior, so I don't really know interior-wise what they're going to be able to get.
And he was 2 of 14 from 3. He was shooting 15% from 3 in the final 4 games there. So if he's not getting a few easy baskets from 3, and the Knicks interior is good, and he's going to have to go up against a guy that probably knows him pretty well. Probably has practiced against him a ton of times, right? Like, knows a lot of his moves, probably knows his tendencies. So I think I'm going to go under the 20.5 points for Siakam for that one. Talk to us about how many plays you have and what you're looking at for this one.
I did 2 player props. First player prop, I did TJ McCollum under 8.5 points. He went over this one game this season against the Knicks. The game he went over was the game right before the All-Star break. Knicks, honestly, they were starting Taj Gibson that game. That was a game they're just kind of going through the motions. I feel I need to fade him coming off his career playoff high where he scored over 20 points. And with the wings that the Knicks have, I think McConnell's going to be very limited in his minutes. I'm trying to get out of ahead of the curve. I don't think this is going to be a TJ McConnell series. So I'm going to play as under 8.5 points. Next play, I'm doing Dante DiVincenzo under 2.5 threes at plus 140. Last time we played the over 2.5, we got it at plus money. Now they adjusted his over game 6, his over 2.5 was plus 105. Now you're playing a team in the Pacers that are very good defending the three. They run this funnel defense. And because of his last game, you were getting a plus 140 on the under. As I said, Pacers don't really allow that much three. They're one of the better teams in the league defending a three. Of the system they run, everything kind of funnels into inside the arc. And also, if you look at DiVincenzo's minutes, if he's not making threes, he's not playing. So if I expect him to shoot bad, he's obviously not going to play. The only 2 games he went over were games he got over 30 minutes. I think he's due for some regression. So I'm going to play the under 2.5 threes for Dante.
Anything else in that game you want to mention?
Interesting series. I just don't know. Like, do the Pacers have enough?
And then I feel the same way with the Knicks too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this as a defense of the Pacers at all, because you're right. Like, there's so many times you're watching them and it's just Brunson and nobody else being able to get something for them offensively.
They're able to get so many second chance points
because of their rebounding, which is like the template for their team is so. I think you were about to hit on it. Can you count on that? Right? It's so like you get that and you win that way. And as a coach, you're so happy you do. But can you count on, hey, let's just throw it up and have Brunson take 30 shots a game? Nobody else really that we can count on offensively and just hope to get some putbacks. Like, you feel like at some point that they're going to hit a ceiling, but it may not be this series. Like, it might just be against Boston, like, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, you can make the argument, do the Pacers deserve to be here? They went up against the Bucks,
who were missing Giannis and
who knows? I mean, you can kind of make an argument that if Portis doesn't get thrown out of that one game, maybe that changes the series, because the one thing the Pacers struggle with is big interiors. So I really think Ginobili could have a good game. Number 55, Isaiah, I'm spacing on his last name. Mitchell Robinson's going to have a big game. It's kind of on the Pacers interior, because inside, like, trusting Miles Turner to defend is something really hard for me to do.
Erik, let's move on to game 2 of the Nuggets and the Wolves series. And we saw a massive game 1 from Ant. He's had a really good playoff run so far. It was funny. You could tell after game 1 how many people haven't seen a lot of Anthony Edwards games before, because they're starting to, oh my gosh, like, yeah, this guy's been doing this for a while, right? This is a reason why they were basically the number 1 team all the year in the West. And then the last couple of weeks, they ended up sort of struggling a little bit when Cat came back, kind of trying to figure everything out there. Monster game. And I like Ant a lot. Absolutely love him. But Erik, this is just the gambler in me. After that game, we've heard so much about Ant over the last few days. And I don't think a lot of what people are saying is even wrong, but it's never been this big. It's never been this wide of a conversation about him at all levels of all podcasts, all everything. Is Ant the guy? Is Ant better than you? Is Ant, like, right away? I think this is just going to be a tough game for Ant. I think they're going to just make him work a lot. And that's why I didn't even want to target necessarily Minnesota or Denver one way or the other. Do we know right now, as you and I record at 5:30, go Bears for sure or not?
No idea. Questionable, because the first child was going to be born.
Yep.
What I did here is something I do a lot in the playoffs. I just played Nuggets first quarter -1.5, Nuggets first half -2.5, Nuggets game -5.5. Nuggets first quarter, second best ATS regular season. At home, they had the best ATS record this season for the first quarter. Wolves, second worst ATS for the first quarter for the season, 16th worst ATS on the road. So historically this year, they just haven't started well to begin the game. I kind of feel the Nuggets against the Lakers kind of played with their food a little bit, and they kind of started off awful, played with their food in this game. Minnesota punched them in the face to start. If it wasn't for Reggie Jackson and what he did, that game would have been a 20-point Minnesota run.
I will say they're not, just plain and simple, they're not as their margin of error this year is not like it was last year. They just have like
Mhm.
two less trustworthy guys. And so whether it was playing with their food or whether it's just like they don't have just quite as much, they're you can notice it. And I agree with you. And like the play here is definitely definitely Denver to bounce back, but you can see it. Like they're just down a guy or two, right? They really, really, really need everything from Jokic. And when you're getting a half like they got from Murray to start, they were just in trouble. And you wonder if Murray, like, I think he played through that last game in game 5 against the Lakers, and he looked kind of fine on the court, and he had a good game. He hit that game-winning shot. But you wonder if that was something that he pushed through a little bit, because physically, even after a few days, he didn't look that great early in this game. He should be a little bit better and bounce back. Like I wouldn't play Minnesota here. I think you're on the right side, and my only play was the under 28.5 for Ant. So I'm under 28.5 for him. And do you have another player too?
Well, no, just to elaborate a little bit. First half, top 2 seeds in the second round after losing game 1, 63% against the number. Quick turnaround. This is obviously going to benefit the Nuggets. We saw toward the third quarter, a lot of those Timberwolves guys were starting to look a little bit fatigued. And Minnesota's due for some shooting regression. They shot 71% from the floor in the second half.
And if no Gobert's there, right, that's another less guy in their rotation. So everyone around them probably has to play a few bigger minutes. Even if he is there, think about the stuff that he's been dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Like how tired and everything is he going to be? So his second game there after having 2 games up in Denver, maybe you're a little more acclimated to it, but you're still your legs are going to be really heavy there late in this game.
Yeah. And then, the Nuggets lose this. I mean, Jesus,
This is it.
are really going to be up against it. I expect a full bounce back, a real conceded effort. I expect some shooting regression. Going to be interesting because Malone has one thing to do. I really don't think, as crazy as it sounds, I don't think this is it either has to be Braun and Gordon on the court or Braun and KCP on the court. There can't really be a world where Gordon and KCP can be on the court with what they do defensively. It's going to be interesting to see. We really need to watch this game to see what Malone does. And if they win doing one thing, we need to kind of get out ahead of it. I really looked at KCP, his points under, his points, rebounds, assists under. None of them are posted when I did my notes. Maybe if I can get like a 14.5, 15.5, I'll look to do that because I think that's going to be the guy who doesn't play that much. I think we're going to see more broad minutes this game.
Erik, I have the promo code up there posted. NFL Betting Blitz, parlayplay.io is the place to go. What's great too is once you sign up for Parlay Play and you're, playing along, they will send you emails and stuff all the time, Erik. Like I got one earlier today with a slash line for Jokic. So instead of 51 points, rebounds, assist, they slashed it all the way down to 43.5. They do things like that all the time for, account holders and for people who are signed up, and you'll get those types of alerts. And maybe you weren't even thinking about playing something earlier, but then you go, wow, well, that makes a whole lot more sense. So it's a great place to play. Talk to us about what you're looking at today for your parlay.
Just basically I'm going to do what I did. I'm going to, play the TJ McConnell, and then I'm going to go to Dante DiVincenzo under 3-pointers, under the, what was it? 2.5 threes.
This is one of those ones for me tonight where I'm going to record the games and I don't want to watch them live. I'll watch them back after and just check my result first. Cause nothing's worse than playing that under and watching, especially when you have a guy like Ant under where like, oh man, he can go on those runs real quick where he hits like, 9 or 12 points in just 2 minutes. And then you're better off when you're playing the plays I have tonight, not even watching them. I wait till after. I'll go back and rewatch the game. Then I can fast forward. I can see what I missed. But the under plays with Siakam and Edwards, 2 guys who definitely can light it up, are not always fun. Erik, I know we're going to get out of here in just 1 second, and I know this is a basketball show, but I do want to ask you: did you get a chance to check out any of that Tom Brady roast last night?
No, I did not.
I
missed that.
I will say, I didn't know what to really expect from it. And I'm on the West Coast, so I was getting some messages from people earlier that had watched it and said, oh man, you got to check this out. Check it out. You will love it. Anyone that's watching this show, if you have not watched that, you'll really enjoy it. Now, what I will say, it's foul. Like, they go after some real like stuff that you'd kind of be shocked that they're doing that with all those people in that room. It is so funny. And I was laughing so hard. I think I woke up my son and girlfriend like 3 different times where I just couldn't control it. And if you're a sports fan and you know all the stories about the Patriots and Brady and all these things, oh, it's a blast. Throw it on in the background on Netflix one of these next few nights if you when you're doing some stuff and sitting back, and I guarantee you'll send me a text being like, wow, I can't believe Belichick said that, or this guy said it's good. Everybody is loose and says stuff and nobody's really like stuffy there. So check that out. You'll enjoy it. Everyone out there, thanks so much for hanging out with us. NFL Betting Blitz is the promo code. Erik, man, it's crazy to think about. We'll probably start our NFL division previews in not that long. You know, maybe like a month or so, 6 weeks. Like things once the draft finishes up, it starts to feel real, right? After that, like we're already on the road there to the NFL. Good luck, everyone. Tuesday NBA or Monday NBA. We'll be back to talk some Tuesday NBA with you tomorrow. Head to parlayplay.io, promo code NFL Betting Blitz. Good luck to Erik. Good luck to all of you, and we will be back tomorrow.